Cameron Peterson leads us to the line again alongside newcomer Brandon Kaler. Brandon's always been a fast guy. He's one of the people who originally helped me with my setup back when I first started iRacing. Here we go. A little slow on the takeoff. Jeremy checks up. Justin gets into him, but everybody's off into turn one. William Booth dives to the inside to make up a spot on Brandon Kaler. Down the back straight and into turn two, it's Cameron Peterson, William Booth, Brandon Kaler, Josh Edmondson, Jeremy Sodorf, and Justin Fleming. Oh, Jeremy catches a little more traction than he expected, gets up on the inside, but is able to hold on to that position. Brandon Kaler runs a high line to try to get a run on Booth. Kaler carrying a lot of speed, bounces off of that outside berm, but keeps it together. First lap in the books. Peterson out front, William Booth, Brandon Kaler, Josh Edmondson going to the inside, Jeremy right behind him, and Justin Fleming to round off this 6-car field. Very technical section of track right here. It takes a lot of throttle timing to bounce just right and clear that landing. This early in the race, it's hard to do. As the track starts to come in, you'll notice people going through there a lot more smoothly. Looks like Jeremy Sodorf's attempting to apply a little pressure to Josh Edmondson coming into turn one. A lot easier said than done with this group of guys. Each one of them are phenomenal drivers and can run lap times under race conditions that most people can't even do in practice. Jeremy dives way to the inside, showing Josh a fender, letting him know he's there. Gonna try to dive back underneath him, but just doesn't have the speed. Oh, that was a interesting bounce for Brandon Kaler coming through there. Jeremy's still leaning on Josh, trying to get that position back that he lost earlier in the race. The rest of the field starting to fan out as Cameron Peterson's out front. Cameron's been showing a lot of speed lately. He's taken the pole in all 3 of our races so far this season. Oh, Jeremy and Brandon both set up for a pass. Brandon makes some contact and gets checked up. Oh, and Jeremy's off track, just misses the tires. Well, that's short course racing for you. It's a tight track. These guys are fast, and it's almost impossible to make a pass on somebody without a little bit of contact. Unfortunately for Brandon, when you make contact with only half your car against another, it tends to cause you to lose control and stalls you out. We do allow door-to-door contact in this lead, preferably full contact, wheel-to-wheel, not 60-40 or 50-50, anything like that. If you get a good, solid door-to-door contact with another car, both cars can stay in control and you can move the car out of the way just far enough to get underneath them. Cameron Peterson showing us how to get traction to make this single double right here. Lands perfectly and carries a ton of speed into turn 4 as he holds it wide open to come down to the finish line tabletop. Perfect landing, runs it hard all the way up to the top. Good exit. This is a textbook lap. Here's William Booth right behind him. Brandon's car sounding like it's running a little rough, but sometimes the other competitors sound like that. It might be a playback glitch. Here's a look at the field. They're starting to fan out. Cameron off to a strong lead. Listen to the way he lets the engine bog to maintain traction and get a good launch out of that turn. No rev limiter needed. Just smooth, even throttle control. That's all it takes to get a good launch out of each turn. Most everyone in this league is capable of running in the 35-second category, but it's really hard to do under race conditions. And here Cameron's showing us just don't get too excited, don't give it too much throttle, just the right amount and goes long ways. Let's shuffle through the field and see what's going on at the back. Jeremy took a little damage in that turn 2 incident early on in the race and he's struggling just to hang on to Josh Edmondson. Jeremy representing for Power Tank. Jeremy got on with those guys back in 2008 while competing in the We Rock Western Series. If you haven't heard of them, they make top-of-the-line CO2 systems, great for all sorts of off-road applications. Newcomer Josh Edmondson showing good speed and consistency in his first race with us. He's representing Viral Goggles, Barn Pros, and Yosemite Sam in that number 58. Brandon Kaler in the number 59 keeps William Booth in his sights. He's able to gain a little ground on him in the corner, but in typical Booth fashion, he runs a wide line and slingshots out the exit. Brandon's been one of the fast guys for about as long as I've been a member of iRacing, and I haven't seen him around for a while, so perhaps he's shaking off some cobwebs. Here we are with William Booth in that number 6. Same with William. Since the first race I've been with him, he was running some of the fastest times I'd ever seen. William seems to like to run a little higher RPMs than some of the other fast guys, which I like that. That's more my style too. I like to, carry a lot of speed, stay in the horsepower, things like that. I haven't quite perfected the whole drift it in, stall out, and lug it out style of driving. But that style speaks for itself. All the fast guys take the corners just like this right here. The guys that you see posting those ridiculously fast times, that's how they're doing it. Seems a bit uneventful and anticlimactic, but it's very consistent and effective. I would imagine their setup is tailored to that type of driving style, with the gear ratios being a critical factor and able to get that drive out of the turns. Looks like a little stripe of blue group starting to develop in turn 1. Nothing too serious compared to what we've seen in the previous races. It's currently 75 degrees, 75% humidity with a 2-mile-an-hour wind speed and partly cloudy. Makes for some really nice track conditions. We'll go on board with Jeremy as he tries to stay in the dust of Josh Edmondson, but is fighting a little bit of mechanical damage, as you can see. His cowl's twisted, he's missing a fender. Little things like that can affect your top speeds on a track like this. Well, Cameron's still way out front. Booth in second, Kaler in third, Edmondson in fourth, and Jeremy to round off the now 5-car field. Kaler pushing 110% as he's trying to make up some ground on Booth, but he seems to be pretty comfortable out there in second place. One of the difficult things about racing with a group of guys like this, where everyone can run fast, consistent laps, nobody really makes any major mistakes to allow you to gain any ground on them. The way Brandon's car bounces through those whoops makes me wonder if he's running a non-symmetrical setup or maybe took some damage. Gotta love that pace car. It always likes to jump in on the action when we're trying to change cameras through that section. Josh Edmondson running smooth in that number 4 spot. Looks like Jeremy Soder's pushing a little hard to try to make up for the lack of aero, but the rest of the field continues to pull away. This is one sport where overdriving it will not make up time. But I guess that goes for all motorsports in general. It's a hard thing to do when you're holding the throttle to the floor and the car's not going as fast as you want. It never occurs to you that maybe if you let off the gas, you'll pick up some speed. Looks like we're starting to get a little blue groove in turn 4 too, but nothing too bad, and that's to be expected with 4 or 5 cars making 15 laps on a track. Especially with these fast guys, it's interesting to see the way the grooves develop differently in these races versus an open session. Good bounce by Cameron Peterson as he comes into turn 4, gets ready to take the checkered flag. William Booth will take the 2nd spot, Brandon Kaler in 3rd, Josh Edmondson in 4th, and Jeremy Sodorf in 5th place to conclude the 3rd race of our first season. That's Cameron's 2nd win in a row. He has qualified on the pole in every race so far. In the first race, he suffered a mechanical failure while leading. And the 2nd one at Wild West, he took the pole and the win. And this one, a pole and a win once again. Well, thanks everyone for watching. This is just the beginning. We're going to do this twice a week, every week from here on out. If you're interested in joining, go to iRacing League directory and look for Rekles Racing Pro 4. Here's a look at the official results from round 1, race 3. As I mentioned before, we do 2 races a week, and only your best result will go toward that week's season points. The reason being is we're trying to accommodate people who have busy schedules and can only do weekends or only do weekdays. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to keep up with the fastest guys in Pro 4. Thanks for watching.